Good afternoon, YouTube. I'm Austin Anson, and today we are going to be doing a drill bit sharpening tutorial and kind of review. For those of you who don't know, my name's Austin Anson. I am a rig welder out of Western Michigan. I am now 27 years old. I started this channel, I think when I was 24, but end of 24. I share videos on how to get started, how to find clients, how to buy equipment, what equipment to buy, what kind of work to do, if you want to stay home, if you want to go over the road, we review equipment, all sorts of stuff. So if that's the videos that you're interested in, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're at 570 almost subscribers now, but I really want to try and push it this year. I'm going to hold myself accountable. Hopefully get a video out every single week, and I'm hoping by the end of the year we're up over the up into the thousands of subscribers. So help us out, let us know you're liking the videos, hit that subscribe button, and tell some of your friends. So today's video today's video we are going to be reviewing the Drill Doctor drill bit sharpener. This is the 500X. I've never owned a drill bit sharpener before. Well, that's not strictly true. In fact, I'll show you the one that I do own. And some people really like these things. I think mine's kind of a dud. It's old. The lighting's not very good in this dark corner of my shop. But this is a drill bit sharpener that is on my bench grinder that I almost never use. Literally the only thing this does is I sharpen tungsten on it. Literally it. And I don't even always use it for that. But it does have a drill bit sharpener. You can put the drill up there and spin it around, but it doesn't really do a good job. And I was at my local hardware the other day. For those of you who paid attention to my one live video, I talked about it because that was the day I picked it up. They had it on sale for like $20 off. It was like $103 or something marked down. So I would kind of guess you could find it cheaper on Amazon or something, but it was kind of an impulse buy because I really wanted it. So let's talk about drill bits for a little bit. Got a big one here. Yeah, so hopefully you guys can see this in the camera. So this is a Cobalt drill bit. It's got to be close to a 1/2 inch. It is a 1/2 inch. And it's really, really good, except this one's getting kind of dull. Like I said, I've been welding now. Well, I've been welding on my own for a little over a year. And I always buy these cheap drill bit packs from Harbor Freight. Because A, I lose them, B, I break them, and C, they go dull. And like these ones went dull too, but it took a lot longer. These have a much better cut quality. But I've just been buying these things because they're cheap and sharp when they're new. And like Black Friday, I literally think I got these for like $6 or something. I bought like 4 packs. But I did buy a nice set of Cobalt drill bits. It was like $60 or something, and most of them are dull or broken now. So I've been needing to get them resharpened. So let's talk about the sharpness of a drill bit. I'm just going to say it because a lot of people might not know this. Whenever you have something that has 2 cutting edges, so this is a cutting edge and this is a cutting edge. This drill has 2 of them, whereas like just your regular pocket knife just has 1 cutting edge. You want those both to be relatively the same level of sharpness, because what happens is when it's twisting, if one is sharper, it's going to catch more than the other side, or this side might have a burr on it that catches. And if you're just using a regular drill bit in a drill, it will catch and it will kind of twist your arm and you can hurt your wrist doing it. That is why you want a sharp drill bit. There are some people who will just go up and re-put an edge on them on a bench grinder or an angle grinder or a sand belt. You could do that. I know a lot of guys who are actually really good at it, but they can't seem to get this little piece in here. I can't remember. I want to say that is like called the kerf, and that also helps for binding up it too, binding up the bit in metal. You will, if it's wood, you're not going to run into this too much, but with metal, if you catch too much, you can hurt yourself. So it's important to keep your drill bit sharp. Especially like me, I'm a mobile welder. I started out on a limited budget. Set this back over here. I started out on a limited budget. So I didn't have the money for a mag drill. So I don't own one. I am gonna buy one. But I just got the regular drill handy. So let's get this opened up here. And that's how I drilled all my holes, and busted up my wrist a few times. So when you open the box, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I say that some destructions in there. I did use a more commercial style one of these at a previous job. So I'm hoping this is pretty much the same. Some things might be a little different, but I'm hoping it's pretty much the same. The reason I think I like this machine, or I'm hoping I'll like this machine, is versus when you're like doing this on a belt sander, your angle might be off. Like you might hit it at this angle, but then you might be a few degrees over when you hit this side. You want these to be the same level of sharpness with the same angles, so if it doesn't work and it's off, you're still gonna bind, you're still gonna catch. Another good example is chainsaws, and we'll just mention this too. For those of you who don't know, when you're sharpening a chainsaw that has a bunch of different teeth, you want all of those to be roughly the same thickness, or the same level of sharp, so that when you're sharpening, or when you're cutting, you don't get your chainsaw binded up. And I think I'm actually gonna do a video on how to sharpen a chainsaw, because I know there's a lot of young people on this channel. And it's actually, it might sound weird, but I've done like a bunch of property gate installs and stuff, and I did the first couple times, and I was sorry. So now I always bring a chainsaw with me, because you never know what kind of brush and stuff you're gonna run into. So I'm just gonna finish undoing this here, and I'm gonna try and find this model, and I will put a link to the description of it on Amazon when I edit the video. It's one thing I didn't do when I did the starting a business for $10,000 video, which that video is almost at 400 views. It's doing quite well. I'm really happy with that. It's like 100 views off or something like that from being in the top 10 of my videos. So I'm pretty stoked about that, because I think it's going to be one of those that as time goes on, it just keeps getting more and more views. It's been pretty chilly here in Michigan lately. It's been like, low teens. So I haven't really done much out in the garage. I've been doing mobile work a lot lately. And now... Alright YouTube, so I'm back. It is the next day. I was actually trying to shoot this video last night, and I was just getting too confused. So I had to go read the manual, as much as I don't like to admit that. Alright, so how to use the Drill Doctor 500X. This is the chuck, and the chuck has two fins or ribs or whatever you want to call it. You have to determine what angle your bit is. These are cobalt bits. These are for like stainless steel and stuff, so they're a little harder. So they have a 135 degree angle. And on this, it has 118 in the middle with a plus and a minus for either more degree or less degree. Or more angle, less angle. So what we want to do is line up one of the ribs, and it isn't super important if you make sure you're in the right degree mark, because really it's just personal preference as to what angle you want this bit. But you load your bit in the chuck and you tighten it up just so that drill will slide through the chuck. And then you open up this little tab here with your thumb, and you take one of these ribs and you line it up into one of these little slots that you want. That's your angle. So it says for the 135-degree angle bits to go 1 notch to the right past the 118, but I'm gonna go 2, because if 1's good, 2's better. And you do that, you make sure you have your thumb opened up on this, and that little silver piece in there is the drill stop. So you hit that, and then you let those arms clamp down on the bit, and then you snug it up. The other thing is, those clamp arms, I do believe, are supposed to be, I didn't see it anywhere in the manual, but I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be in the most narrow point of the drill bit. So the most narrow point, not the widest point. So you'll do all that. This machine's already set to the 135-degree mark, which is where we want it. If you want to change it, you just loosen up this knob and you move it up down to the degree you want it. So make sure that's tight. Now, as I said before, the commercial one I used, it was all made of steel and it was really nice machining. This thing's mostly plastic, and this side's tight, but this side moves a little bit. So I just kind of hold it like that to keep it from rocking back and forth, because anything where it's got 2 cutting edges, you really want them to have the same cut quality. So go ahead and turn it on. I don't know how great you guys can tell in the video. Maybe focus it, but it's actually pretty quiet. It's about as loud as a Dremel. And you just go ahead, put this in there, and rotate it clockwise, just like the drill was cutting into metal. And I kind of just keep track of these 2 white points. If I pull it out, I want to make sure that white point goes back in so each side gets the same number of sharpening. The other thing to know is this little nipple here and this edge, you want to keep contact with the whole time, because this will rock and you don't want it to be rocked to fourth or anything, changing the angle of your drill bit. Okay, so you go until you can't hear the noise of the machine grinding against it anymore. I don't know how well it focuses in. It had a few round corners and it looks pretty sharp now. But now we need to put the self-drill or the pilot hole port in. And that's where these 2 little white lines come in. And that is actually located on the other side of this machine here. This part right here. It has a little notch right by the adjustment screw, or the tightening and loosening screw for the angle. And you are going to put that in there and line up that white notch to that notch on the machine. And that will cut a little back notch into here. You don't have to do it. I like to do it because I primarily work with steel, so I like my stuff to have it. So you'll push that thing in, you'll push it in, you'll hear it grinding, you'll rotate it 180, and you'll push that thing back in and let it grind. So let's finish it up. Just like that, just push it in. And you'll be able to tell the distance between this notch and that notch, the gap in between them. You want to make sure that's about even. You just eyeball it. This one's a little less than 1/8 of an inch. But, and I'm sure this is really difficult to tell on camera, but it does put a nice little curve in there. And we could go more, but this one doesn't seem to be too bad. You could probably go until that thing was all the way. This notch was touching this notch, but I don't feel the need to because this one wasn't that bad. So, figure out here how to adjust my camera height. Just like that. And we'll move you guys over here. I'm sure you guys love it so much. I already have a hole. Because like I said, I had to test this thing out last night. Because I was having a harder time remembering how to set it up. So, but we're just going to run through this. This bit was completely dull before. I should have mentioned it or showed it in the video, but it was doing that like terrible grinding noise, and it's like hurting your ears, and it wasn't actually cutting anything. It was just the two pieces of metal rubbing against each other. But now, and I'm not really pressing down that hard. And we go right through it. So guys, all in all for this tool review video, I would give this little drill doctor, like, if I was to rate it out of 5, I would probably give it a 4 out of 5. For the money, I can't complain too much. You know, the only thing I have to compare it to is the old broke one on my bench grinder and the $1,000 sharpening bit sharpener that we had where I used to work. And this one definitely falls in the middle. That old bit sharpener, where I used to work, again, it was over $1,000, but that thing was like, it was brand freaking new. And this one works pretty good. You know, you can see it brings them up in a nice little squirrely do here. And it's pretty good. You know, I can buy more expensive bits now and feel more confident in using them. And if they get sharpened or broken or whatever, that's cool. It is slower than the older, the $1,000 machine, but again, a $1,000 commercial machine versus this little one that, you know, regular Joe Blow has in the garage. It's definitely an entry-level machine, as I'm sure we've talked about in all my other videos. When you guys get started, you don't really have a ton of money to spend on extra stuff like this. But, you know, when you can spend a few $100s here or there, it goes a long way. So I'm pretty glad I bought this thing. The other thing is you do have to keep all these parts together. The other one I had, like the parts went in and kind of locked in place, so that was kind of nice where I used to work, and we just set up a station. So I'll probably find a station for it somewhere along this metal table here, you know, once I clean it up and do all that stuff. So anyways guys, that is a tool review video. Like I said, super important. It's 1,000 times better than doing it on a bench grinder where your angle might be off when you're sharpening the two sides, because anything that has more than one cutting edge, it's important for those to be the same cutting capabilities. I think we talked about chainsaws. Chainsaws have so many different cutting teeth on each side, and it's really important to try to use your guide angles and cut those up. And I might make a video on sharpening a chainsaw, because it's easy, but there's two steps that always seem to get missed with like first-time chainsaw owners. So if you guys are interested in a video, let me know in the comment section below and we will do it, because those are great tools, especially if you're doing mobile work, gates, and working out in the woods and stuff on like forestry equipment. I've definitely had it doing gates, have to clear brush, and I've also had it where I'm doing like forestry work. The guys are like clear cutting stuff, and you know, machines break down and like they can't get to them they can't work with them anymore, so they move to a new job and just leave the broke machine down there, and then I go in and fix it. But there's definitely been times where like, oh yeah, you know, sure, yeah, you'll be able to get right up there, there's tons of room, and then I get there and it's like at the end of a narrow channel, and or a narrow trail, and I can't get to it, so I have to have a chainsaw to clear up some brush, because I don't want to scrape up the side of my machine, my truck, and all that stuff. So it's just important things to know and have. So anyways guys, I'll quit my rambling. Leave me a like, a comment, subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 600 subscribers, which is pretty awesome. We want to keep ramping it up with new videos every Wednesday, so we're into the thousands by the end of the year. But until the next time, just remember, if you're not burning, you're not learning. So we'll see you on the next video.